We all go through shit, we all evolve as people. My name is Tiga, I'm 24 years old, and in today's episode, I want to share with you the different stages of experience I have in life. The reason for this, I have an album dropping on the 18th of September, so less than 2 weeks away from the day of recording right now. The day of release of this, it will literally be 4 days after, and I've done fuck all promotion. The reason for that is because of exactly what I'm going to be talking about, like different stages of life happening and putting other things in line of what is more important priority-wise. So this album was a big deal for me from the get-go. It originally started when I first started making music, the idea of the direction I wanted to go with this. The direction has completely shifted. Originally, I had an idea of an album where I had gotten to a very low point, jumped off a bridge to quote-unquote off myself, and on the way down, it was like all these flashing memories and stuff of everything I've experienced in life. And when I got to the bottom, there was going to be, I would drop so low down that there was going to be these like beings, like these almost alien-like beings at the bottom of the ocean, sort of dissecting my brain and stuff. And then it would get to a point where they're like, this is too much, sending back. And so it was like life giving me a second chance for remembering where I had been and not making the same mistakes and trying to grow, which is what my name is, to grow and remember. So that was the whole gist of where I wanted to take the direction of the story originally. Mind you, I had this idea before I even started making music. I think I was writing songs and stuff, but I didn't have anything released. I had made a trip down to Melbourne. Shout out to Backer. I recorded down with him. He mixed and mastered the tracks and produced them. And still to this day, like, it took us ages. We recorded all the vocals and everything ages ago, but then we revisited everything recently, probably within the last 6 months or something, to fully get them finished. And through the course of that, there has been shifts and changes to what the album is. The album itself is now called Past, Present, Future, which is a very similar concept of the, falling down and going through old memories and stuff. The idea of that was like your life flashes before your eyes when you die. Like you see all these memories of your life come up. But essentially, what it is now is just my story of where I was, where I am today, and setting intention for the future. Which is crazy because even in the first song, spoiler alert, called Past, Present, Future, in the end of it, I talk about intention that I am setting, and I set a date for that. And even I had written that recently and recorded and, did everything for it very recently. But things have still changed again dramatically. And I think that's why the push of this album wasn't massive as well. I think I just wanted... This album always felt like something I need to make in order to get it off of my chest, to get it out into the universe, because it's something that I've held on to. There's tracks on it I've held on to for a very long time that have a lot of meaning towards me, including ex-relationships, including my father, including a lot of touching subjects. And it felt like there were tracks that if they never got released, they were always going to weigh on me heavy and have almost a burden effect. And so I wanted to collect a bunch of songs and put it together as a collective and tell a story through that and release it. And so that's what I'm doing. So enough of talking. We're going to be jabbing in and out of this album through this episode, but I want to actually talk about where I was and how I've gotten to where I am today through the album. So it's going to be the artistic side. Like I said, the day of this coming out, it will only be 4 days after, so give it until the Thursday. You can go check it out at midnight. Let me know if you enjoy it as well. Again, there could have been better quality. There could have been a lot of better things. It was something that I just had to get out there. And so that's what I'm doing with it. I will not tell you exactly what the order is, But looking at it here, let's go to one of the tracks in the album called Tell Me Why. Again, I'm not too fussed on telling you what the songs are because this comes out in 4 days anyways. After you guys see this, if you're watching this the day it comes out, you might be watching this later on anyways. But the first track I want to talk about is called Tell Me Why. This was genuinely one of the first tracks I think I had ever written. I had written a couple of tracks, probably 5 to 10 potentially, maybe not even that. And I was going through a rough patch. I believe I would have been 15. At the age of 14, I was starting to go out. I was drinking, I was smoking, I was doing drugs, this, that, or the other. By the age of 15, I was at a point where my living situation wasn't the best for me at the time. And in me doing everything and being a delinquent almost, I was making situations worse. And so from that, I decided to say, fuck you, mum, leave as a teenager may or may not do. Like, I was a massive asshole, and I regret ever fucking... I don't regret ever doing that stuff, but I regret ever hurting my mum, Anyways, so from that, I went to my dad's. It didn't last very long. He's someone that hasn't really been in my life much. And essentially, this track talks about that whole scenario. I had written 2 verses to this track, and later on when I had first met Breezy through making music, this was something that I was just getting into production and stuff. I think we had made a couple of songs already together, but I was just getting into production. I think both of us were trying to get into content. And so we decided to collaborate on that. And I had made my first ever beat with him, not using samples, like playing keyboard and everything. And it sounded like dog shit. I can't lie. Like, it didn't sound the best. And so we sat on it. I had recorded vocals. I wasn't very confident recording it. I honestly don't know if I had a song out yet. I think this was still before anything was released, potentially. I could be wrong on that. But yeah, we had recorded it. I'm sure there's still content out there somewhere. I know both of us have probably deleted shit, but it would belong on the internet somewhere of the session that we had for this song. And it was something that we'd revisited multiple times, tried to reproduce, try and come up with new ideas, and nothing ever worked. And then one day he reproduced it. It sounded fucking sick. I think he had one out in the session as well. And I was like, you know what? He'd fit within the track. If he wants to jump on it, get him to jump on it. He was fucking chill with it. And it all tied together nicely. I think there was a lot of divine timing in that. And I believe that's due to the experience that I had later on. Like, when we re-recorded vocals and stuff, it was so much easier and it came out so much cleaner and stuff. Another one I want to talk about. What's another one? One of the Greats, bro. That was in the works for way too long. There was a lot of trouble back and forth between the engineer, and we didn't have a second feature on that. I think it was just a feature verse that I bought off of Jaden Wakefield, who later on was my mentor. Even talking about this, bro, I forget how much I've done already. So again, I think this was after I had released a couple of songs. I saw Jaden stuff. I had fucked with it. I believe I had got in contact with him first. I could be wrong on that. He had then eventually reached out to me saying he was starting this mentorship group. And I was one of the first. There was 3 of us in it to begin with. And we grew it out a fair bit. Later on, I ended up becoming his business partner, which didn't last too long. I won't go into too much to that. There's no bad blood between me and Jaden at all. But essentially what that song was I saw him and I saw his quality and I was like, damn, this guy's good. And it was something that I had written, like, so he sent a feature verse. No, I think maybe I had written something first and then he sent a feature verse and his was fucking sick. But I was like, it was the first sign of confidence where I was like, bro, I'm on par with this guy. Like, I felt like I was on par. I don't see anything as competition anymore. I never did to begin with, but I'm in my own lane completely, so I feel like that would be very hard to even come across anymore, because it's hard to find someone that's similar to me. But yeah, and then so that was something that had been sat for ages. I think eventually I had come across, someone had hit me up on TikTok. That's what it was. Someone started following me through TikTok. She lived in Sydney. Her name is Frankie Stone. She's now on the track. She'd hit me up, and then she'd posted something one day of her singing, I think it was Frank Sinatra or some shit, and I was like, damn, she got some vocals, man. And again, this is another empty track where it was just a couple of verses, and then I'd heard her sing. I was like, bro, can you write something? I don't even think she had any music out at all. She could just sing her fucking ass off. And I was like, bro, would you be down to write something? I was tempted to actually originally write her something to get her to sing it, because she was like, oh, I'm not too confident writing or whatever. She sent a rough video of her hook, and I was like, bro, and she goes, oh, if I need to change anything, I might be a bit off. I'm like, bro, keep it. Let's get you in the studio, let's get it recorded, let's keep it, let's run with it. That, again, felt like divine timing. Growing was another track that was recorded a long time ago. That was with Breezy as well. That was us sort of getting to know each other a lot more and having fun with our sessions. There was a lot of fun. We recorded content a while ago for that as well. Very different time. There's an interlude which has not been released, so this is an exclusive for that. The interlude sort of encapsulates all these songs together, and the cover art itself, it's called The Bottom. Originally it was called Falling, but then I had a track with MN Capo called Falling, and then also with another artist that never got released called Fall, and I was like, damn, I can't have this shit called Falling or Fall. So I called it The Bottom, because I do say The Bottom in it. And it pretty much encapsulates all the songs into one, and tells a story through even the cover art. There's themes of like Western country and stuff. There's themes of in the cover art itself, there's themes of coins, which is a song called Earned This. There's a blade in there. There's a bar about me talking about trying to stab my brother when I was younger, which I do not recommend at all. There's the hourglass in the middle as like a main focus, talking about like the past, present, and future, all the moments in time, talking about there's green leaves and stuff that's showing off the growing. There's also the greenery within it. There's a lot to it, and so The Bottom is literally merging the original idea I had for the album and all those songs together and trying to put it into one to what we had already recorded. So that was a lot of fun, bro, to like revisit that, even though I had recorded that before I dropped any music when I was down in Melbourne. It full circled, bro. Full fucking circled. Another one, I want to say there's 3 there that were afterthoughts. So let's go straight into that then. So Fuck Country was an afterthought. That was a more recent track through a lot of experimenting and stuff, trying to... what was I going to call it? I can't remember. I was going to call it something else because like I can't call it Fuck Country. It's a play on FC because I'm Aussie, but then I also hate country music as well, so I wanted to make a song jabbing at that and like playing on country music but also making it hip hop. And I had a lot of fun with that, and everyone's like, bro, you just got to call it Fuck Country, like screw it. So that's what it ended up being, and that's where a lot of like country themes and stuff come from on the cover art, and even in the bottom you can hear the horse and stuff, like me get off the horse before I jump into the water. Again, you guys will understand this fully when the album comes out, if you choose to listen to it. This was a track that was a promise I'd made, and I've brought this up multiple times. This is that track that is a massive weight off my chest, I think, to finally get it out there. The song means something completely different to me to what it did back when I had written it. I won't go too much into that. I'll let the song talk for itself. But then we go into Fear and Bare Minimum. Fear, I feel like I tap into a lot of these different past moments that I had in my life, like especially the darker stuff, but actually using those points in time as my fuel. So all the fear I've had, all the being poor, all the fucking cop involvement, stuff with my dad, all these different things, using the fear of that to actually push me further. And that was something I'd worked on at one point in my life. I was a very anxious person. I still am. And there was one point where I was single and everything, and I had a lot of free time to myself. Well, it did and it didn't. But one of the things I tried to do over like a 6-month period was purposely go out to the city or go out in a very public place and record content and put myself out there, like literally not embarrass myself, but make myself feel anxious on purpose to conquer the anxiety. That's something that I really should get back into, because I feel like I made such good progress and then I've gone very backwards on that. But using those points of fear and literally flipping it on its head and using it as fuel rather than fear. Then Bare Minimum. Now this is an interesting one. I feel like I've probably talked about this track before. Again, this was a very afterthought. It's drum and bass. This is the first time I had made drum and bass. This was inspired by my missus, who when we had first met, she was very heavy into it. She still listens to it. I still listen to it. Like, because of her, I didn't even know what the fuck it was before I met her. And the whole thing is a diss track about my old housemate, which the day I had moved out to live with him, I had met her, and there was a lot of fucking back and forth fighting that involved her as well. And it's just a fucking gronk, bro. Like, there's a lot to it, and I just had a lot of fun with it. Like, I'm not someone to diss people. Hate's a strong word, but fuck, I can't even say I hate him. I just really, really dislike him, bro. Like, the shit that he had done to both me and her, I can't fucking fathom the situation, bro. And even, like, the outside people involved and stuff that don't even know what the fuck happened. It's just, yeah. I'll keep that one to myself, I guess. Then we also have Standard. This, again, I recorded part of it down in Melbourne with Bacca. It was produced by Emin Capo. I think the only reason I had recorded this song, this was like I didn't know if I was going to use or not. The only reason I recorded it was because I had 2 verses, I think, on different instrumentals. And this is back when I had followed Capo. I should stop calling him Capo. And Newborn Noise. Shout out Newborn Noise. And I was following their website a lot and keeping up with the beats and stuff. And they just dropped this beat. And I was like, damn, I just had these other verses memorized in my head. And I was like, this is fucking perfect. And then I think I tried to sing. So that's a good... So that... In my brain, I know when this was now. I went to Melbourne just after I recorded Butterflies, which was my second ever song. The first ever time I had tried to sing properly was on Butterflies, and I'd been told that I had potential to sing. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to try and experiment. Recorded Standard, and the hook was absolute dog shit. I think there was even a part where I had an ad-lib talking about Michael Jackson, and I went, hee hee. It was fucking cringe, bro. And so I revisited that and re-recorded something else just for the hook, left the rest of it, and that is what it is now. So that's a brief of all the songs in there without going into too much detail, even though I've pretty much mentioned every single track. The other cool thing about Standard, that originally was going to be the introduction to the album, because on the day of recording I had mentioned the date, and it almost sounds like a Bible verse, not a Bible verse, but like it's a dead set introduction with the date on there. And so I was going to use that and then the last song, which was going to be Past, Present, Future, was going to have another date, which does, and that was going to stamp it there. But then I've flipped both songs around, so Past, Present, Future is first and Stand is last, and it makes it sound so much cleaner. And that's something that I really fucking liked. Even with One of the Greats too, I remember Jaden has a line in there where he mentions something about the scar on his head, which he'd just gotten. He'd just been to Bali, I believe it was, and ate shit off a scooter, like went face first on concrete, ended up in the hospital, and he has like this scar on his head, not like a Harry Potter one, but just like a scar on his head, right? And he'd mentioned that in the track, and so... And anytime I heard that track, it brought me back to that's when that was. And so I think with Standard and Past, Present, Future, I fuck with those like key moments where I personally know when those things happened. To the outside person, they may not, but for me, I do. And that's something I really fuck with making this kind of content too, you know. Everything that I make, you guys are following along and it all has a standpoint because... you know, when I make it, like, you'll be able to refer back to stuff, and I want to tie that in with the music too. Like, I'll be saying stuff, and you guys will pick up on it. You guys will be like, oh shit, you know, he was in this position, this is what this means. And there's a massive, like, joy to that. I don't know how else to word that. But, apart from the album, bro, let's talk about my actual journey. So... I started making music. We talked a little bit about my past. I think I'll let the album do the rest of that. When I had started music, I had written... what very first started it was I had written a Minecraft parody. That's what had started it for a school project or whatever the fuck it was. I think I was in like year 9 or something. And I never uploaded it. I never submitted it and I got 0, but I had a lot of fucking fun with it. I made a full video clip and everything for it, and I had so much fun with it, and it still goes off to this day. It is by, it was a cover of Roll in Peace by Kodak Black, or a reimagined. I used the instrumental, and I completely related it to Minecraft, and people will find that cringe, but I don't know how many views it has actually. Be close with... I don't know. It'd be close to 1,000, I think. It'd be multiple hundred. I could be wrong. But, and you will not find that. Do not go searching for that, please. But, yeah, that is what started it. And I think it gave me confidence. I think I'd written that. Maybe I'd written other stuff before that, but that was the first time anyone had heard anything I'd written. And then from that, I got a lot of shit for that in high school, as you would. From that, when did I think I left school when I was 17. I was hardly ever in school, but I left school when I was 17 and started working the day job that I'm working now, just with a different mob. And I feel like I was writing that whole time, just never consistently. And then I was with a partner at the age of, I think, 18 to 19 or something. We were dating just over a year, and through that I'd written 2 songs about her. One of them is in this album. The other one I don't really care too much about. But that's that promise there of, I had said, I don't know if I'll ever officially make music, but if I do, I promise to release this one song. And that promise there, like I said, I wasn't writing too frequently. But that promise there is what drove me to actually push what I'm doing right now. From that moment, we had split, and I had all this free time. I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to start, like, even though I really, really disliked her for how it ended, I was like, fuck it. I'm going to take this serious. I'm going to start fucking actually trying to release music. And I think that's when I probably spent, I don't know, give or take 6 months, sort of just writing every single day or as much as I could. And that's what started me. The first song I ever recorded officially was Ignis, and I'd driven down to Canberra. I feel like I had seen Capo on Instagram or something and hit him up. Sort of, he did music. I didn't know him from a bar of soap. and hit him up, told him I was going to Canberra. I had my cousin's wedding or something. He couldn't make it. I think he was doing renovations on his studio. And so he recommended me to one of his homies, and I recorded in his closet, which humble beginnings. And from there, the rest is history, man. From there was someone who went to my school that was friends of a friend of a brother, and I followed them, and I'd seen that they had gone to a studio that was in Liverpool, which is in Sydney. And that's where Beats with Chef was, and that's what started that. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna hit these dudes up. Started with them, recorded Butterflies with them, and I remember the session, bro. Like, I had never sung, never done harmonies or anything. First time I'd ever met them. And I just remember Barry, I remember him saying, like, oh, can you try and do this? Because I told him the sound I was trying to push. He's like, oh, can you try and do this? And I do it. And he's like, bullshit, you've never fucking done this before. I'm like, I swear to God. And it was such a fun session. I remember I had the homie Tavita there. I feel like maybe it was just me and him. It could have been Zach or Owen as well. But from that point, I built a relationship with Beats with Chef. From that, even, like, I started branching out, started searching for people online. I met Verse Sydney City. Through that, I met other people, and it just snowballed more and more. And then one day, Shefford came out and told me that he really fucked with my stuff, and he thought that my sound has a lot of potential, and he could really see me taking shit real far. And by this point, like, my work ethic was good, but it was not what it is now. I was just doing it I was trying to keep consistent, but I was definitely fucking really lazy. I was playing PlayStation all the time, and, you know, just fucking not doing music related stuff. Like, the only time I would be to write, which is so different now. From that, I landed a deal with them. That is now been a 2-year deal. It was a 1-year contract that's renewed. I can see them doing it again next year, and I can see me going, fucking oath, I'm with you all the way. From that, like I said, I'd met Jaden. I started in a mentor group with him. I then later on became his business partner. From that, I think that's what had driven my persistence and consistency, because we did calls twice a week, and I showed up to every single one of them. It took me a long time to not show up to one, but no matter fucking how tired I was, no matter where I was joining those fucking calls, and I feel like that's really what pushed me. So if you're struggling with, like, consistency or anything, find yourself a group, like, even if it's a small group, like 10 people, oh, not 10, sorry, 2-3 people that are really trying to push to do what you want to do and trying to be consistent. You can all hold each other accountable. I feel like that really made a big difference. And I'm now at a point where I don't need that. It's muscle memory to just fucking get shit done and prioritize stuff. And it's just fucked how it all snowballs, man, because it all started with me making a Minecraft parody and going through a lot of hardship. Hardship is what I use this as a form of therapy. That's what this had all started as, because I have always been a very introverted person. I felt like I didn't have anyone I could talk to or express to. And I've always been a creative person, and it just felt like the best fitting thing I could do. And that's, again, why I feel like this album here is so necessary for me to put out into the universe, because there's so much history of who I am tied to this. Whether you can pick that up through the lyrics or not, I am giving a piece of me into this. And I hope that someone can see through that and see who I am. And this was all back when I was trying to put on this persona, quote unquote, and try and fit this role. Now I'm really trying to be me. And this is the old me. This is everything that was me, and the beginning of growing and setting all these intentions, and like, it's just everything there, man. And I can make better music than this sonically now. I've been experimenting a fuck ton. I can't wait to start releasing singles that I want to release that isn't tied to this fucking album. It's been a headache to think about, and that's why I just want to get it out and rip it off like a band-aid. There is some good stuff in here, but I can make better stuff. This is literally solely to show you me the different stages of my life and how much this shit really fucking means to me. Oh my god. Anyways, if you guys have liked this video, please like and subscribe. Turn the post notifications on so you don't miss a video. I'm posting every single Monday. I'm streaming every Tuesday and Thursday as well. So if you want to come join that, see me read, see me perform, like rehearsals. I'm recording this Thursday as well, which you'll see this week after I'm saying this. But this Thursday, so on the... I don't know my days. I think it's the 12th or something. I'll be in the studio. I'm going to go live in the studio. You can see a lot of behind the stuff. I'm doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff as well on stream. I've been writing songs and stuff. So if you want to see that kind of shit, come join me Tuesday, Thursday. If you want to hear more of these, I'm going to keep these more structured and stuff sometimes. Other times I'm just going to be talking shit like this, letting you guys know where I'm at. But yeah, hope everyone has a good rest of their week, day, night, whatever it is. And I'll see you guys next week. Take care and peace.